Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? On today's tutorial, we'll be making this beautiful bobo dress with v-neck and fringes on the sleeve. To all our subscribers, I want to say a big thank you, and if you haven't subscribed, please like and subscribe to our channel. Come along, let's jump right to it. For the fabric, I used 2.5 yards and I folded it into 4 places. Okay, so you fold yours into 4 places, the normal way we fold our fabric to cut bobo. And I'm using this fringe and satin. You can also use crepe fabric for yours. So after doing that, we are going to just draft our bobo pattern. So let's insert all the necessary measurements. On the neckline, I came down by 1.5 inches. That's what I use for the front and for the back. After marking the 1.5 inches, for the wideness, I use 3 inches. So you mark 3 inches and connect it to the 1.5 inches. After connecting it, you mark your sleeve length. I use the total length of my fabric, 23 inches for mine. You can use 17 inches because you are adding fringe to it, or you can use 16 inches to make it a short sleeve. But I really wanted mine to be a bit longer, so that was why I used the 23 inches, and it's going to, when I attach the fringe to it, it's going to be way longer, and I want that effect. So use the length that your client desired or you desire for yourself. Mark it. After marking it, you come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope and connect it to the 3 inches for the neckline. After connecting it, I went ahead and I mark my body measurement. So I came down by 10 inches and I marked 10 inches. After marking 10 inches, you can decide to use 8.5 or divide your bust by 6, then add 1.5. But I use my shoulder to bust point for it. Okay, so I use 10 inches for mine and I mark the waist, which is 17 inches. After marking your waist and your bust, divide your bust by 4. Then whatever you have, you add 5 inches, 3 inches, or depends on how wide you want the bobo to be. So I divided it by 4 and what I add was 10.5. Then after marking the 10.5, I added 5 inches to it. So I'm just going to draw a straight line. Then on the sleeve area, I came down by 12 inches. You can use more than that. You can use 14 inches. You can use 16 inches if you want it to be very wide. But I don't want mine to be that wide. So I went ahead and I used 12 inches for mine. On that 1 inch on the shoulder slope, connect it with a straight line to the 12 inches that you just marked. Then after doing that, you've gotten the sleeve. Okay, we've gotten the sleeve area. On the waist area, what you are going to do is you are going to insert whatever you have on the bust. Okay, so I'm adding the 5 inches to the bust area. I'm going to mark, because if you want to connect it this way, it's going to be a bit, how do I put it? It's not going to give you what you want if you want it that way, because the bust is actually way higher than the sleeve and I want it to have that effect. So I'm going to connect it to the waist, because I usually connect mine to the waist, or I come down from the bust by 2 inches. So you mark whatever you have on the bust area, mark it on the waist area and connect it to the sleeve. Okay, can you see what I'm doing? I just connected it to the sleeve. You can come from the sleeve by 1 inch or 2 inch. So you connect it this way. Then when you are done connecting it, you go over to the hem line and mark whatever you have on your bust or your hip for the hem line and connect it with a straight ruler. Okay, so mark the down length that you desire and connect it. For mine, I use 14 inches. If your hip is way bigger than your bust, use your hip for this part, okay? So you divide it by 4 and add 5 inches. But I use whatever I had for my bust area for the bottom part, and that was 15 inches. So I went ahead and I marked 15 inches and connected it with a straight ruler. After connecting it, cut it out. We'll be cutting the front and the back together, then we'll separate the front from the back. After separating it, we'll be working on the front neckline. It's a V neckline, so you are going to mark where you want the neck to stop. So I came down by 9 inches. Then I took my straight ruler and I connected it from that 3 inches that we have for the wideness all the way down to the 9 inches. So exactly what I'm doing, that's what you are going to do for yours. So just mark it out. After doing that, you are going to cut it out and we are going to work on the plain fabric that we'll be using for the neck. This is the V-neck. We are going to cut the plain fabric now. So you'll be folding your plain fabric into 2 and you are going to place it under the main fabric, the Ankara fabric, okay? So you place it this way and be very careful, make sure everything align and cut it out. After cutting it, you have to keep the Ankara fabric aside and we are going to be working on the plain material. So on the plain material, you have to figure out where you want it to stop. So from your shoulder to your waist is 17 inches. You mark the 17 inches and on the shoulder area, you have to figure out how wide you want it to be. So I use 3 inches for mine. You can use more than 3 inches. You can use 6 inches. You can use 5 inches. So whatever I got there, I went ahead and used my straight ruler to connect it all the way down to my 17 inches. Okay, so that was what I did. So I just did that and marked it. To make it a bit wider, you have to increase the shoulder area, okay? The one you mark on the shoulder, if you want it to be wider. Because this is the size that my client needed, that was why I just cut out this size. So do the same thing for yours. So this is it. This is the V effect for our dress. We are going to take the main fabric now and we'll be placing this on it. So this is it. You are going to turn your main fabric to the back and the plain material, the V-neck that you just cut out, you turn it to the front. So it's front side facing back side. Okay? Then when you are done, you pin it up and you stitch the V-neck round. Okay? Stitch it. After stitching it, notch it, and I'm going to show you what to do next. I stitch it up. I'm just going to go ahead and notch it. After notching it, we are going to flip it over to the main side and we'll be ironing it, okay? So I've notched it, I've flipped it over. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to iron it up and fold the edges. So to do that, you use hemming gum or you can just fold the edges that way. So this is it. I've not ironed it, so that's why it's looking that way. You iron it up and fold the edges with your hemming gum. After ironing it, I added something extra for mine. You can leave it that way or just be creative and add for yours, okay? So stitch it up. I'm going to show you how it looks after stitching. So for the back, you are going to take your back and we'll be cutting out the neckline for the back. So take a piece of scrap fabric and place it underneath the back and cut it out. Okay, so that's for the back neckline and use it to turn out the back. I've stitched the v-neck, I've stitched the back, and I've turned it up. So what you're going to do, we're going to place the front to the back. So front side facing front side, we are going to join the shoulder. So for joining the shoulder, you are flipping that interfacing, that lining piece for the back, you flip it over to the front and stitch it together. So it's going to be in between the front and the back. Do the same thing for the other side. You stitch it all the way down to the end of the shoulder. So you do it, and I'm going to show you how it looks. After stitching, then we'll join the sleeve. After stitching it, this is what I have. Can you see it? You see the shoulder area is very neat. We're done with that part. Let's go over to the sleeve. For the sleeve, you are going to hem it. You can use 1 inch to hem it to make it bigger. Okay, so you hem it normal way we hem our sleeve, and you are going to take the fringe and place it on the sleeve. So you can place it on top of it if you want the black edges to show, or you can place it underneath it. Okay, so that was what I did. Basically, I pin it up and I'm going to stitch it. So I just want to show you how to pin yours. So you pin it up this way and you stitch it to the end and join the sides together. So I'm going to show you how it looks after stitching. Then when you are done, you hem the bottom part of the dress. This is it after stitching. I've stitched every part of the dress and I've joined the side and the sleeve. So this is the sleeve. Can you see the fringes? And this is the inside of the sleeve. So I went ahead and joined it and I joined the sides together. So what you're going to do after doing this, you have to iron it for you to have a neater work. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching today's tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This way will help us to grow our channel and reach more audience. God bless you guys. Also, if you want to stone your bubu, you can as well do that. This fabric has patterns for stoning, so I might add stone to it. Bye, guys.